Part 1. The girlfriend without the title. Was I just a placeholder? It started, as these things so often do, with a history that was hard to let go of. He was 21, I was 20. We had that electric, chaotic energy that feels like it could last forever, until it burns out. Our relationship was a constant cycle of on again, off again, a push and pull that left me dizzy. The truth is, I was doing all the work. I planned the dates. I paid for the dates. I was the engine of the relationship, and he was just along for the ride, offering vague promises and a charming smile that made me forget I was running on empty. So, inevitably, we broke up. But we didn't really break up. We transitioned into that murky, undefined territory of friends. Friends who still ended up in each other's beds. Friends who shared secrets. Friends where I was still, for all intents and purposes, his girlfriend, just without the title. I was doing all the girlfriend stuff, providing all the emotional support, the intimacy, the familiarity, all for free. All while he kept me at arm's length. He even said the words out loud one day, a casual dagger to the heart. "You know," he said, "I don't really see us getting back together." I played it cool, of course. A shrug, a nonchalant, "Yeah, that's cool." But a part of me, the part that still hoped, shriveled up a little. I tried to move on, to accept our new reality, but he made it impossible. The moment I showed a flicker of interest in someone else, his entire demeanor would change. There was this one guy, someone I'd talked to in the past, a purely platonic friend. We were at a party and I gave him a hug. Just a hug. From across the room, I could feel his eyes burning into me. Later, he cornered me, his voice tight and strange. "Are you two together?" he asked, not making eye contact. I was stunned. "No," I said, "we're just friends." But his jealousy, as toxic as it was, lit a stupid little fire in me. It felt like proof that he still cared, that his nonchalance was just a front. My own feelings, which I'd tried so hard to bury, started clawing their way back to the surface. And that's when he started talking about it. A second chance. He started planning things, describing these perfect dates he wanted to take me on. It wasn't vague anymore. It was specific. He talked about that little Italian place downtown with the checkered tablecloths. He talked about taking me to the lookout point over the city at sunset. He was building this beautiful fantasy, a bridge back to what we were supposed to be. And for the first time in a long time, I let myself believe him. I thought, he finally sees it. He finally realized what he lost. I was so wrapped up in the hope of it all, I didn't see that I wasn't the star of his show. I was just the understudy. Was I just a placeholder all along? Part 2. The ink and the imitation. Was any of it ever real? The fantasy he was weaving felt so real. The plans were laid out. The promises were whispered. I was walking on air, imagining our reconciliation, this grand romantic comeback story. But something felt off. A day would pass, then two. The perfect date night he described never actually materialized. He was still calling, still texting, still keeping me right where he wanted me, but the plans remained hypothetical. My friends were telling me I needed to push him, to tell him how I really felt, to demand clarity, but I was scared. Scared that if I pushed too hard, the beautiful mirage would disappear. The truth didn't come from a conversation. It came from the cold, blue light of my phone screen late one night. I was scrolling aimlessly, a mindless habit, when a picture popped up. It was him, and he was with a girl I'd never seen before. She was smiling, leaning into him. Annoying, but not world-ending. Then my eyes focused on the background. The checkered tablecloth. The candle in the wine bottle. It was the little Italian place. Our Italian place. My heart started beating a little faster. I clicked on her profile. It was public, and it was a horror show. Picture after picture. There they were at the lookout point over the city, with the sunset painting the sky behind them, just like he had described to me. There they were, doing every single thing he had told me he wanted to do with me. It wasn't a plan he made for me. It was a script, a pre-written romance he was acting out, and when I hesitated to play my part, he simply recast the role. I felt sick. It was like watching a movie of the life I was supposed to have, but with a different actress. Then I saw it. The post that shattered everything. It was a picture of her arm, delicate and pale. And there, in fresh dark ink, was his name. My ex's name. Permanently etched into her skin, the caption read, 4 months with my forever. Had to make it official. 4 months. It had only been 4 months. While he was whispering promises of a future to me, he was building a forever with someone else. As this whole story unraveled online, people pointed out the chilling reality of what that gesture meant. A top comment put it perfectly. A tattoo after 4 months isn't romance, it's a red flag the size of a billboard. That's not love, it's love bombing. He's trying to lock her down with grand, irreversible gestures before she figures out who he really is. Another person wrote something that hit me even harder. He didn't plan those dates for you. He has a how to get a girl playbook, and he uses it on everyone. You just saw behind the curtain. It was all fake, an imitation of intimacy. And I had to ask myself, was any of it ever real? Part 3. The best of both worlds. Why was I the only one who felt guilty? The air left my lungs, us. The entire foundation of hope I had built for months crumbled into dust. And the worst part? He was still calling. Even after I saw the pictures, the tattoo, the proof of his new life, my phone would light up with his name. After a few days of silence, I finally answered, my voice hollow. I didn't even have to accuse him. He knew that I knew. But what I expected was some kind of apology, a fumbled explanation, maybe even a little shame. I got none of it. There was no remorse, no guilt. Instead, he just kept going. The new girlfriend lived in a different city, a fact that suddenly made everything click into place. I wasn't the love of his life he was trying to win back. I was the local option, the convenient one. He kept inviting me over. He kept talking about us. A week after I saw the tattoo of his name on another woman's body, he had the audacity to ask me, his voice soft and sincere, "So, do you see us starting over?" I was speechless. The disconnect between his actions and his words was so vast, it felt like I was talking to a crazy person. And a part of me, the part that was so deeply hurt, felt a wave of guilt. But not for myself, for her. For the girl in another city with his name on her arm who had no idea she was a character in his twisted play. I found myself defending her to him. "Don't do that to her," I'd say, my voice pleading. "She doesn't deserve this." I know that pain. I was trying to appeal to a conscience that simply wasn't there. Things happened. Moments of weakness where I let him get too close, and every single time, I was the one left feeling disgusted with myself. I felt like an accomplice in his betrayal. The emotional whiplash was exhausting. He would tell me he wanted me, and in the next breath, he would talk about his girlfriend. And when I confronted him about how messed up it all was, how he was hurting two people at once, his response chilled me to the bone. He looked at me, completely serious, and said, "I don't regret it. And I don't feel bad. That was it." That was the moment the last shred of my affection for him died. It wasn't that he made a mistake, it was that he saw no mistake to begin with. He felt entitled to our bodies, our time, our emotions. Online, people called it what it was, pure narcissism. He wasn't confused. He was a user. I was his ego boost, his physical comfort, the keeper of his history. She was his shiny new prize, the symbol of his desirability. He had expertly engineered a situation where he had the best of both worlds, and the only question left was, why was I the only one who felt guilty? Part 4, cutting the cord. Could I finally choose myself? The realization hit me like a physical blow. I was giving him the best of both worlds. He had a devoted, long-distance girlfriend who tattooed his name on her body, offering him stability and adoration from afar. And then he had me, the convenient local ex-girlfriend providing the history, the intimacy, and the thrill of the forbidden, with none of the commitment. He was having his cake and eating it too, and I was the one handing him the fork, feeling terrible about the baker who had no idea her cake was being shared. I thought about telling her. The internet was divided. Half the comments screamed, "You have to tell her. She deserves to know who she's with." But the other half offered a chilling warning, "Don't do it. He'll twist the story, paint you as the crazy, obsessed ex, and you'll be the one who gets burned." I realized they were right. Getting involved in that would just be playing another one of his games, and I was done playing. My responsibility wasn't to her, it was to myself. So I made the choice. The hardest, most painful, and most necessary choice of my life. I cut him out. Completely. It wasn't a dramatic, screaming confrontation. It was a quiet, firm finality. The next time he called, I didn't answer. When he texted, I blocked the number. I blocked him on every social media platform. I essentially erased him from my digital life, and in doing so, I began to erase him from my real life. My feelings screamed in protest. The part of me that was conditioned to his chaos, that still foolishly held onto the memory of the good times, wanted to unblock him, to just check in, to see if he was sorry. It was a physical ache, a phantom limb. But I knew, deep down, that I wasn't wrong for ending it. The only thing I was wrong about was letting it go on for as long as I did. I was wrong to accept the role of the placeholder girlfriend. I was wrong to mistake his possessive jealousy for genuine affection. I was wrong to let myself be a pawn in his game. But cutting him off, that was the first thing I had done right in a very long time. It was the moment I stopped being a character in his story and finally started writing my own. And in my story, I am the main character. I am the one who deserves a love that is real, not a recycled script. And I am the one who gets to choose myself, every single time.